Hello. Well, uh, here are some of the things that the people that I worked with or who worked with me at the hospice house did for me. There was one aide that all of a sudden and out of the blue, for I don't know what reason, decided that my room was too small. And since one of the rooms had recently been vacated, that she could wheel me into that room, and besides, that room had a private bathroom, which was always important, and she knew that was important for me because I valued my privacy a lot. So she wheeled me in there, and all of a sudden I found myself in a spacious room with a private bathroom. Why, I don't know. You got to remember that a hospice house is a place where people go to die. And good hospice houses, and this was a good hospice house, was good hospice houses are places where the medical staff give you the medication that you need to die comfortably. For example, if you're one of my uh, one of my big fears was choking to death, not being able to breathe and dying like that. To me, that was terrible. So they did have medications, they assured me, to ease that feeling of suffocation that some people have when they die. That's just to give you an example. And as a matter of fact, there were nights that I was feeling short of breath. And I called in and I said that I was feeling short of breath. And at the same time, I was thinking, well, this is it. That's good. I'm gonna die now. Uh, so uh, because you got to remember that I had that I didn't want to live because I was afraid that if I lived too long, I was going to be wheeled out of the place where I was, no matter how nice, and I was going to be put on the street, or I was going to be taken back to the place where I didn't live anymore, and that was going to be about the same as being put on the street. And that came from the fact that I had no idea how my services were being paid for. I had heard that they were looking into using Medicaid to pay for those services, but I had no idea if they'd been approved or not. So I always figured that the fastest and surest way to not be put on the street was dying as soon as possible. Um, so when I felt short of breath one time, I thought, well, this is it. That's great. Maybe I'll die tonight. And I remember going to bed that night thinking, hey, maybe I won't wake up. But I did ask for I did tell the staff that I was feeling short of breath to see what they could do for me for that sensation. And they did give me some air and they gave me some medication. And that almost immediately eased that feeling. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if you've ever been short of breath, but it's a very uncomfortable feeling. So there that was. The To give you another idea of uh, how the people on staff there befriended me, there was one nurse who went to Hawaii for a vacation. And when she came back a week later, she spent like maybe a half an hour sitting by my bedside with showing me the pictures of Hawaii. She'd gone to Hawaii. pictures of Hawaii that she had on her iPhone and explaining to me, just kind of like a slideshow. And I loved it because I hadn't seen the outside world in a long time, and I didn't think I was going to see it again. So that was nice. That plus what I've already mentioned before with the fish tank and the chaplains and the chapel, and I was feeling very comfortable there. I thought I'd love to die here. I don't want to go anywhere else. Well, unfortunately, I was about to what they called graduate. I was about to graduate from the hospice house. What that means is you don't die, and now you have to be transferred someplace else. So now I was in a situation that was all too familiar to me. They were going to have to find another place for me to go. And I got angry because I said, hadn't you assured me that I was going to, this is where I was going to spend the rest of my days? And it was the doctor at that hospice house and the hospice house social worker, who was not the social worker that had brought me in here. She was a different social worker who was in charge of the hospice house. Hadn't you assured me that I was going to die here? Were you just trying to appease me so I wouldn't so I wouldn't be talking about what was going to happen to me and about my fears of being put out on the street? Is that what you were doing? You were trying to shut me up? And I remember when the doctor and because I remember praying that I wouldn't be taken to a different place or be put out on the street or be put out or be taken to a nursing home again. And I did that for about a month. And I thought, well, this is the only thing that I can think about to calm me down, calm myself down, and go to sleep in some kind of peace is by praying. And I prayed a lot. But a day came when the doctor and the social worker came to see me. I don't know why I felt like they were ganging up on me. Came to see me, and they told me that they had found a place that would take me, in essence. Probably because no one could figure out how my stay anywhere was going to be paid for, and the services that I was going to be given wherever I was going to be taken were going to be paid for. And again, it wasn't pretty. So they came to see me to tell me that. I was very angry, and I can tell you about this in the next video. Thanks for sticking with me, and please hang on, and I'll tell you how things went on after the hospice house. See you in the next video.